Springboks versus All Blacks is just around the corner, so we thought why not do a preview of the match, looking at all the information that you need heading into this monumental fixture. But if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Nonetheless, let's get straight into this preview. So a match with a ton of anticipation, All Blacks versus Springboks, first game of the Rugby Championship. Doesn't get much better than that. It will be kicking off at 3:05 AM New Zealand time on the Sunday morning, but I know that there will be a lot of Kiwis up and watching that game, seeing exactly who is able to take out the first game between the ABs and the Boks. But during this preview, we are going to be looking first of all at the previous results for both of these sides. The Springboks recently having their tour up against Wales, and the All Blacks their tour up against Ireland. Then next we will look at key players for both of these sides, those players who we feel will be able to take it to the next level in this opening game of the Rugby Championship. And then last but not least, we are going to be trying to give our prediction of who is able to take out this match. I think that one's going to be the hardest choice of all. Try and work out who could be taking out this massive matchup. But we will start now looking at previous fixtures. Like I mentioned, the Springboks, they did have a home series up against Wales. In the first game, they were able to win it 32 points to 29, an extremely close game. But in the end, the Boks were able to hang on. Then their next game, also very close up against Wales, 13 points to 12 in favour of the Welsh. So they were able to make the series 1-1. And then the last game, we saw a fire lit underneath the Springboks, and they were able to win that game 30 points to 14. So they were able to take out the series 2-1 up against Wales. Few close games in the mix though, but their last game, it seemed like there was a whole different mentality from the Springboks. They were out to prove that they deserved to win that series, and in the end, they did just that. Looking at the All Blacks, they started their series up against the Irish extremely well. 42 points to 19, one of the best games from the All Blacks that we had seen in recent times, after a few rough performances up against Ireland and France last year in the November internationals. Then the next game though did go the way of Ireland, 23 points to 12. So it did make that series 1-1. And the thing that was quite cool about every series being 1-1 is no matter the matchup, it was all on the line. Like we saw Scotland-Argentina, that one went down to the decider. Australia versus England, same boat. Wales versus South Africa, same boat. And it just added that extra little bit of intensity into the last game. But in that last matchup, the Irish, they were able to take out a monumental series win in New Zealand, 32 points to 22. And the All Blacks, they are now on a 2-match losing streak heading into this first game up against South Africa. So we will have to wait and see what that does to the mentality of the All Blacks heading into this contest. They've made quite a few changes in their lineup, and one of the things that has changed is that front row. Actually 2 changes in there to be exact. No Cody Taylor, so instead Samisoni Takiaho does move into that starting lineup, and then alongside him at number 3 it will be Angus Ta'avao. That is due to Ofa Tuangafasi and Nepo Lalala both being out due to injuries. So that is one of many changes that the All Blacks have gone with. Sticking with Beauden Barrett though, that is one thing that hasn't changed in that starting lineup. So we'll be Barrett at 10, Aaron Smith at number 9. So that is actually 4 matches in a row that they have gone with Beauden Barrett as the starter rather than Richie Mo'unga, who will be coming off the bench. Quick look at the Springboks, couple changes they have made for themselves as well. Malcolm Marx gets to start this match as it is his 50th cap. So a monumental occasion. Bongyumba Nambi, last match up against Wales, brought up his 50th alongside Ebenezer Beth, who was able to get the 100. Now Malcolm Marx gets his own milestone. The man's brilliant. He has one of the most accurate lineouts around. So that is why I think he will be able to have a pretty solid game there for the Springboks. Also a couple other changes that they have got. Number 9, Faf de Klerk, moves back into the starting lineup. And then in that back line, Kurt Learenza does get the opportunity to start at number 14. Only has 1 cap for the Springboks. Now gets to make it a second in this game up against the All Blacks. Couple other changes on the bench for the Springboks, including Bongyumba Nambi coming off the bench at number 16. Selman Morat made his way back into the side, and then Jaden Hendrickse and Willie LaRue, they will be the back replacements. But now looking at key players for both of these sides. For the All Blacks, straight away there is a name that pops into my head, and that is Ardie Savea. He plays very well up against the Springboks normally, loves that physical game, and that is something the Boks certainly bring to the Rugby Championship. And for Ardie Savea, he will have to make sure he's efficient in the breakdown, get in those turnovers, and also playing his natural running game, because when he's in support, he can be extremely dangerous, as we saw last year in the Rugby Championship when he was able to score himself a few tries. Another name for the All Blacks that I have got as key players is going to be Sam Whitelock. He is playing 4 for this match, so he will be going head-to-head with another Centurion, Eben Etzebeth. That's going to be an absolutely crazy battle. Between those two men, they have got over 230 caps. That's huge. That's like more than the whole All Blacks reserves bench, plus half the lineup. That is how many times those two men have just continuously made their way back out onto the park for their nation. And yeah, I think line-out time for Sam Whitelock's going to be absolutely crucial for the All Blacks, because if they don't get it right, we know that South Africa certainly will be able to, and they do love a rolling maul, South Africa. With Malcolm Marx in the starting lineup, I think we will see it used relatively often. Then the last name in the All Blacks lineup as my key player, it is Will Jordan, starting out on the right wing, and will be marking up with Makazole Mapimpi. So 2 players who have a brilliant strike rate, love scoring tries, and they will be going head-to-head in this matchup being played in South Africa. But Will Jordan, a lot of people wanted to see him start at fullback. He hasn't got that role this week. Instead, Jordie Barrett does get to start at 15, but Will Jordan's still in that starting lineup, and that is all the All Blacks need for him to be able to have an impact. He's quick, he's got a brilliant rugby brain, seems to be able to read play better than a lot of players in the world today. So that is why he is my 3rd key player for the All Blacks. Now looking through at the Springboks for their key players. Number 7, Peter Steph-Totoy. It's the first man that I'm looking at. He is very quick in the breakdown, and if the All Blacks aren't careful, it could be similar to what we saw in the Irish tour, how there were those consistent turnovers being won by Ireland, put the All Blacks under pressure, and that is the last thing they want up against South Africa. If they find themselves under pressure in this game, then those cracks will start to form, and that is where we could see quite a few penalties going against the All Blacks, and also quite a few of those turnovers as well. And the next player who I feel could be key for the Springboks is Damien Valenza. Now, I could have gone Lukhanyo, but one of those 2 guys in the centres I think is going to have an absolutely terrific game. And if it's Damien Valenza, we know how strong he is while running the ball, crashing into that All Blacks defence, and maybe being able to find an offload or 2 throughout the process as well. So that is why I've gone Damien Valenza. Him and Lukhanyo in the midfield are just absolutely terrific together, and that is what the All Blacks will have to try and shut down. And then the last name in the starting lineup that I have gone with, I was considering giving it to Handré Pollard because of that kicking duty that he will find himself having, but instead I have gone with number 15, Damien Valenza. He played extremely well up against Wales. He's a good attacking option for the Springboks, as he's not just safe under the high ball, but also enjoying the line, can cause line breaks and make it very tough for the opposition. So that is why Damien Valenza is going to be my last man for the Springboks to watch out for. I should mention I've got both Damiens in there, but Damian McKenzie still not back for the All Blacks. Perhaps when he does return, could find himself back in the AB's kit. I don't think there's any other Damiens in World Rugby that I can think of. Now we move on to the next stage of the video, which is the prediction. Now, I'm going to say no matter who I pick here, if I said New Zealand win, South African fans would not like me. If I said that South Africa win, the AB's fans won't like me. So I think no matter what, I'm going to annoy someone in this one. So I wouldn't take this prediction to heart. But for me, it's going to be an extremely close game. I started off with it being that one side was going to win it by 7 or less. Now my brain's telling me it could be split by 5 or less points in either side's favour. So for me, it's tricky. It's in South Africa. The All Blacks, they seem to play very well when they play in South Africa though, which is something we do need to remember. They're in a little bit of a tough spot though. They're in a little bit of a tough spot at the moment. South Africa, they won their last game. The All Blacks have lost 2 on the trot. Is it going to be the case of the All Blacks find another gear with a few of those young guys in the lineup? Caleb Clark back in the team, marking up against Kurtley Arendse. There are so many little battles that are going through my mind at the moment, trying to work out who wins this game. I'm going to have to go with it because I know that there's probably a job on the line if it doesn't work out for them. So I'm going to say the All Blacks, they win this game by 3. It's a huge call. I could easily see the Springboks winning this game by 10 if they start to find their momentum early, but for now, I'll say All Blacks by just the 3 points, able to win it up against South Africa. But nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this video. We will be doing our watch-along commentary of the match, so be sure to tune in for that as well. It's going to be epic watching these two sides go head-to-head, 3:05 AM New Zealand time on the Sunday morning. Be sure not to miss it, as it will be one for the history books. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.